Anime or live action, which is the better version of Cowboy Bebop? In this episode of my show, I don't have a show, but anyways, in this video we're going to talk about Cowboy Bebop and what's good, what's bad about the anime and the live action, and we're gonna see what's better. And it's the anime, yeah. Anyways, hello there and thank you for clicking on this video. As you heard me saying, we're going to talk about Cowboy Bebop and what's better, what's worse. I think I made a mistake by watching the live action first because I have never heard about Cowboy Bebop except in the last few months. I did not see a trailer, I did not read any plot lines, I had no idea what Cowboy Bebop is. So when I started watching the live action, I was super confused of what's exactly happening. I mean, you had bounty hunters and a casino in space, and I had no idea this is something like Star Wars, but it's not even like Star Wars. It's a whole different thing, and I really loved the whole premise, the idea, the concept. I absolutely loved it. That's why I watched every episode of the live action, and I was really interested to see what's going on in Cowboy Bebop because I'm not only here for the plotline, but also about the world building. And I mean, you have different planets. We live on Mars and Jupiter, and we're in year 2080 or whatever. I don't even know, because that's one of the bad things about the live action, because they didn't explain anything properly. Like, we didn't have any good exposition. At one point, they started hinting that Faye is kind of really old, but I was like, wait, what? Everything came out of nowhere. And I think that is because they expected that only Cowboy Bebop fans are going to watch it and not like random people like me. But for random people like me, I needed a bit more exposition. Like spaceships are basically used like cars nowadays, and it's just a whole different thing. Is that Earth? It's not the Earth. What happened to Earth? You know, I had so many questions at the beginning, and the first few episodes were really confusing for me. But with the anime, everything had a very nice and slow transition. We got exposition the right way, and that's why the anime wins here. I think, I mean, anime is going to win pretty much every factor, but yeah, I mean, live action was kind of confusing. In the anime, as I said, you know what's going on right from the first episode, while in the live action it was a bit confusing. And the other thing about the anime is that the characters had a lot of time to breathe and actually develop, while in the live action we were just thrown into their stories and into the whole universe and the syndicate and Jet's family, and it was kind of out of place for him to have family, but we're going to talk about that later. While in the live action, as I said, everything started at the beginning, and in the anime we didn't get to hear Faye's and Jet's stories until episode 15 or 16, and the whole season has only 26 episodes, so that's pretty much late in the show. But obviously in the live action it was like third episode or something. So in the anime we had more time to connect to them, to, you know who they are now, because there is an ongoing theme through Cowboy Bebop that we should live past in the past, because the present and who you are now is important, not what happened in the past. So it was very well connected. Like, everything, the storylines, every character was super well connected. Their stories were super coherent. While in the live action, you should care about these characters that you just met. You should care about them and, be interested what happened in their past. But I just met them. Why would I care about them? Are they even important? Nobody knows. Point for the anime is that the stories were more or less just about bounty hunting and about Spike and Jet, and then eventually Faye being a team and going on those bounty hunters adventures, which were very interesting. But while in the live action, it was more or less just about Spike and his story. It was really centered on him. While in the anime, we also got a few episodes about Spike and his story solely, but it was very well mixed with Jet and Faye. It wasn't just about Spike, which was something that I really liked in the anime, that we got so many stories about Jet and Spike going on those adventures. But unfortunately, Netflix decided that As always nowadays, I think the problem with many shows is that instead of the show concentrating on this and this character, they only concentrate on one character and this character only. Like, that's the only character that matters. But in Cowboy Bebop, the anime, everybody got their time to shine and their stories had time to breathe and develop naturally. But obviously, live action in 2021, nothing goes the right way, I guess. So let's talk about the characters, and let's start with Faye Valentine. I must say I liked her in both live action and anime, but live action, every interaction felt a bit forced, and her character and story did not have any time to develop. But in the anime, obviously she has way more depth. She's smarter, she's more cunning, she is more skilled, she's better. But in the live action, I didn't think that she was that annoying as some people say that she was. I think the biggest thing about Faye Valentine, the live action, is the actress. When she came out after the fans making fun of them about her costume, I did not like her costume in live action or anime, and I didn't really care about that. I understand why the fans were mad. I mean, you want your character to look like the character, but I didn't care much. But she did a very bad move to talk to the fans in that way. It was stupid, and I think that's why many people did not like Faye Valentine, and I agree with them because of that. Gender swapping characters in her story was so stupid. It's unnecessary, doesn't do anything for the story. The original characters were way better than these gender swapped, race swapped characters for no reason whatsoever. Also, her sexual interaction with the other woman was so out of place and so unnecessary, and it was so cringe, the conversation they had afterwards, and it was so uncomfortable. And I just don't understand why every show, film, movie has to have sexual interactions in them. I think it's super stupid. I mean, we have the Lord of the Rings that now they're gonna do that too, and it's the stupidest thing ever. It doesn't make sense. Nobody wants it. Stop putting sex in everything. Also, Gren is a character that was part of her story, and I did not like what they did to him in the live action. Gren in the anime is such a tragic character. He's a result of an experiment that damaged him, and now people are trying to use him to further their agenda. It's so stupid, and for you to take him and make him a way different thing and to say that, oh, he was this and that, whereas he was an experiment that probably shortened his life. It's mind-blowing to me how people can be nowadays. Talking about Jet Black, I think that the actor in the live action did a good job. At the beginning, I did not think that him and Spike had such a good chemistry, but with every episode it developed, and I think that the actor got more comfortable in the role, and I think that he was the highlight of the whole show. Giving him a family, again, did not add anything to his character or story whatsoever. It just slowed down the whole thing. It was there to be funny, to make Jet Black funny and dancing, which was cute, obviously, but that's not Jet Black. I mean, Jet Black is just, he doesn't care about anything. He just wants to get bounties. Obviously, he does care about his friends, but he's not the person that shows feelings. What I want to say is that Jet Black, he has feelings, but he's not a family guy. He had the chance to have a family, but his work was more important about him, and it was stupid. I think it was stupid, and giving him a kid that was kidnapped by Vicious at the end of the season was just the dumbest thing ever. In the anime, Jet knows about Spike and he doesn't have a problem with it. I mean, he doesn't know the whole story, but he knows that Spike has things that he used to deal with, and he doesn't make such a drama out of it. But obviously the live action has to make everything dramatic, over the top than it actually is, and it didn't do any good to the story, didn't add anything to the story whatsoever, and it's just bad writing. Spiegel, I want to say that, I'm sorry. Anyways, he's not my favorite character. I think that in both the live action and anime, I just don't think much of him. Obviously, giving him the name Fearless was kind of stupid because we know Spiegel is fearless. He is cool, he's calm, he's cunning, he is kind of sad, he's tormented. But in the live action, you're naming him Fearless and you're making him a bit funny, a person that makes jokes, a person that has kinks. He's a bit more cartoonish, and it just doesn't work because Spiegel is, as I said, calm and tormented and in his own world, in his head. It's a very different Spiegel. It's not even Spiegel, and I know some people are saying Junchu is too old, and I kind of, at the beginning, I did not agree with that, but now I agree with that. I see why he should be a 27, 28-year-old something guy, because Spike is young. And I do think that his age is kind of important because it's this young love that he had with Julia, but with Junchu, I mean, you can see he's old and it's just a different Spiegel. I did not understand why they changed who Spiegel is and why they made him funny and kind of quirky. I must say that I did like the episode of Spike and Vicious. I think that the two of them, I think if it was kind of a prequel to Cowboy Bebop, it would have been a bit better, maybe because it would just be about Spike and Vicious, because it was an interesting episode and I really liked it, how they developed their friendship, that they were basically like brothers, that then Julia liked the other one and it was a whole drama. I like that, but I think they shouldn't have touched Cowboy Bebop because the whole show doesn't feel like the anime really. It's like a comedy. Well, Cowboy Bebop is not a comedy. I think it's a bit more lighthearted than the live action, but it's still way more low-key dramatic. Vicious, like every other character in the show, is kind of a parody of the anime character. Vicious in the anime is very cold-blooded, he's calm, he's cunning, he's basically like Spike, but a bit more dark. Then you have the live-action version who screams and hits things and can't control his emotions, and he's basically Kylo Ren, which I don't like though. I mean, Vicious is another parody, and it's very sad because Vicious in the anime, you see him like 3 times, and in those 3 times you're like, wow, that's something. And sometimes I feel like live action versions or sequels, they just use certain characters too much that the mystery of them is just gone, and this is another sad thing, obviously. The ending of the anime was kind of not my favorite. I want to know how it ends. Obviously, I can imagine something, I can make up something, that he goes back to Jet and Faye, but we will never really know what happens. I don't like open-ended stories. I'm just not that kind of a person, but compared to the ending of season 1 of the live action version, it was a masterpiece, because the ending of Cowboy Bebop, putting that kid in that situation and then making Jet and Spike fight over it, and making Jet just resenting Spike for endangering his daughter, it was just, it didn't make sense and it was way over the top, and I did not like it at all. I mean, where do you go from here? How can Jet and Spike be friends again? It made the whole thing way more complicated than it actually should be. So I think the writers of Cowboy Bebop just kind of did not understand Cowboy Bebop at all. Also, Julia at the end shooting Spike, it makes 0 sense. It is stupid. She loves Spike, but she shoots him. It's stupid. Not every female character has to be a girl boss. And it doesn't make sense. Like, stop making girls, like every girl has to be alone and super strong and not feminine at all and not show any emotion. Girls nowadays have to be ruthless and kind of miserable. It's a whole different world. It's mind-blowing how media is portraying girls nowadays, and women obviously. Edward is not my favorite character. She is annoying, she is not responsible, but I also get those things about her because she's just this over-the-top character that, yeah, I didn't like, but she wasn't the worst thing ever. But those few seconds in the final were just, you cannot just replicate that in live action, and I don't think why you try to do that, because it wouldn't make sense and it doesn't even look good. Like, it doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. And don't even try to replicate Edward, because you won't be able to do that. It won't work. Just don't try. Thank you. So do let me know, guys, what did you think of Cowboy Bebop, live action or anime? What did you like more? And I must say, the first few episodes of the anime were a bit boring for me. It was kind of slow, like I couldn't even watch it further. I didn't want to watch it further. I did push myself. But once we got to like episode 14 or 15, I really liked kind of the change of dynamic, I guess. I don't know, something changed for me, and I really liked Cowboy Bebop. It was super interesting to watch it after episode 15 or 16 or 13, I don't know, somewhere in the middle. But with the live action, because I've never seen anything like this before, I was looking forward to every episode, kind of. Well, I wasn't crazy about it, but I was looking forward to it, and I really like the whole universe, the whole concept of Cowboy Bebop. But I do agree that Netflix, of course, has to mess it up, as they always do. But I do wish for second season, because I do think that, hey, they have potential with the right script and the right acting, I guess, with the right everything. They need to start over, basically, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. But do let me know, do you want season 2, or do you want to never see that live action version ever again? Let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next video. And as always, may the force be with you.